Welcome back to Final Trade and another episode of Premodern Power with this time, whoosh, Lightning Bolt. Of course, one of the original in the early cycles of Magic the Gathering where every color received a 1 mana instant that did some kind of 3 effect. And so, of course, black got Dark Ritual, which generates 3 black mana. White got Healing Salve, which gains 3 life or prevents 3 damage. Green got Giant Growth, which is +3/+3 to a creature for the end of the turn. And blue got Ancestral Recall, which is draw 3 cards. Now, think about the history of these 3 cards since then, or the cycle of 5 cards, one of each color. Ancestral Recall was of course restricted. It's part of the famous Power 9 of the 9 most powerful cards in Magic's history. Dark Ritual, eventually WotC would kind of pull back on that and say, you know, we're just not going to reprint that all the time because it gets used in too many decks. And so they kind of parcel out the reprintings of those every several years. There was one in Strixhaven, though, in 2021 as a Mystical Archive version. Healing Salve, just a junk card. Damage prevention and life gain has never been that good in Magic, still isn't. And Wild Growth is kind of middle ground, but Lightning Bolt has kind of a special place. It's still been a relevant card. It's still really good. It's so good that creatures will be classified as to whether or not they are bolt bait. So if you put this creature out, is your opponent going to spend his Lightning Bolt to get rid of it? And that's a testament both to how good Lightning Bolt how ubiquitous it is, but really the fact that if you're making a red deck, it's hard to convince yourself not to put 4 Lightning Bolts in there. It's just such a wonderful card. It's so cheap, so versatile, and 3 damage is a really good threshold where it's like, well, I can deal with a lot of early and mid-game threats with this, and even in the late game, you know, you might get your opponent himself within striking distance, or a creature who's already damaged from combat you might finish off. And so it's a wonderful card anytime you draw it during the game. And really, it's a wonderful card in just about any red deck. I would challenge you to tell me what red deck would not be better with some Lightning Bolts in it. I'm sure there's some kind of like wild red-blue control deck that arguably shouldn't have them. But for the most part, it almost always belongs there. It's just a great classic card, and it goes all the way back to the alpha printing of Magic. If you like this kind of thing, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join me on Final Trade. Thanks a lot.